Good evening. Welcome to Outside the Game. I have a very, very, very special guest. Not because of guess what, the things he's done in the community, but he's a special person to me. Someone I consider that I can call my friend. I have the coach at Roosevelt Senior High School in Washington, D.C., Coach Rob Nickens. Coach,
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing, man? Thanks for having me, Mike. Thanks for having
hey, it's a pleasure, my brother. You know, we go back like stocking caps and Wade.
me.
So I'm excited to do this. This means something to me because you sitting in that chair, my brother. So
Appreciate it.
let me let everybody know a little bit about Coach Rob. He's been coaching at Roosevelt for 17 years this year. All right. Uh, he's someone that has been cultivating a lot of relationships and stuff throughout the years there and had a lot of success with kids. So I'm gonna give you the breakdown of what Coach Rob has accomplished in these 17 years up at Roosevelt. Um, Coach Rob Nickens has coached there for 17 years, like I said. His record there is 384 and 121. That's impressive. He has one DCSSA state title, 5 DCI AA runner-ups, 4 DCI AA regular season titles, 13 straight Final Four appearances. That's impressive. They also appeared in 10 straight championship games, which is also impressive. They also finished in the top 10 at the end of the year rankings every year since 2011. Every year. Coach Nickens has won the Washington Post Coach of the Year award in 2020. He was DCIA Coach of the Year award winner in 2008, 2011, and 2014. Coach Nickens has produced 7 pros in the world overseas, and he has sent a great deal of kids off to play college basketball all over the country. And more importantly than any of them things that I said to you right now, for me, the most important thing here is in 17 years, Roosevelt has 100% graduation rate. That's impressive, man, because that's what it's really about when you talk about the kids. You know, sometimes you see in high school sports, you know, kids are good, but they don't go nowhere. They go to the streets. And this man here has 100% graduation rate. He's sending kids all over the place. That's impressive. So, first, coach, I just want to tell you, man, you a real humble dude, man. But what you have done in these 17 years at Roosevelt, man, has been outstanding. The relationships I know from working with you personally and just knowing you, and you just changed lives. So I just want to give you all those kudos, man, because you've been a pillar in the community. And it's people like yourself and what things I'm trying to do is just going to take our community back to where we wanted to be. So the first thing I'm gonna start off with you, coaches. Take me back before you was Coach Rob, because there was a time that you wasn't Coach Rob, you know, and you grew up in Washington D.C. in the '70s, '80s, and '90s. And I don't know if a lot of people knew what was going on in our city at that time, but it was a lot going on. So just tell me how you navigated your way through school in the sports world, and what were some of the obstacles you faced.
Growing up in Washington D.C., I grew up in the Searching Quarters area in downtown Northwest. That's where people down by Dunbar, K Street. Um, One thing I can say about growing up in that area, man, I've built relationships with guys that I grew up with. Moochie Norris, who played in the NBA with the Houston Rockets. Damon Singletary, who's now the head basketball coach at Dunbar. We all grew up in a tight circle together. Ricardo Dorn, rest in peace, who has just passed in the last 5 months. My friend who passed away, that's at Cornelius Last the Tiger. We had a five that was connected and stayed together. We always played basketball growing up in that era. And, the one thing I can say about our community, even though it was bad back then, we had older guys that pushed us to play basketball and do the right thing of going to school. Number two Boys Club, Mr. Wyatt, Jimmy Watkins, Bill Butler. Them guys saved my life. I'm not going to sit here and play with that. They taught me, the values of being somebody that should help others. They also taught me the values of, man, hey, it's a better way out than being in the streets. So that's who I give all that to back then. Growing up, I had my mom and my dad, stayed on me about doing the right thing. And my mom was, my Aunt Doreen, man, they were
Play with you.
Nah. My mom, a bad call home, man. You gonna get that whooping that you need to get, and I can say that honestly saved me from wanting to do anything bad. I was so afraid of my dad growing up, man. I know if the teacher called him or somebody in the community called my father, man, it was going to be a rough night. So that was the fear that I had growing up. And, them values and things that I carried from that era, I carry with me in my basketball program at Roosevelt. I want my guys to know that you have to do the right thing, man, or it's going to be consequences. And the consequences going to be, man, we're going to make you, hey, man, you might run from here to Kings Dominion if you don't do what you're supposed to do, man. Or we're going to have a talk. But the leadership abilities, man, that I want you to have in the world is something that we talk about every day. And I think has been something that I've learned from being a younger kid in Searching Quarters to where I'm at today in my career.
Yes, sir. So talk about a little bit about. Tell me where you went to high school, and tell me what happened after high school when you went off. Because I know you hooped a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So tell the people a little bit about where you went at, where you hooped at, and where you went to high school.
Played the Spingarn High School for the late great Kenny Howe, who taught me the game, the X's and O's of the game. I learned a lot under Coach Howe. I'm not gonna sit here and play. I ain't like Coach Rob Nickens is the greatest X and O guy on earth. I'm not. I think I know enough, but Coach Howe taught me a lot about the game of basketball, how to run an offense, how to set screens and things like that. That's why I always try to. If you notice, I always make tributes to him every year around his birthday or around the end of the school year, because the guy taught me a lot and he believed in me as a player also when a lot of people didn't. So I give all my credit with learning the game and starting with the game with Coach Howe. Played at Cloud County Community College in Kansas for Coach Dennis Ergenbrack, who's a legend in basketball in Kansas. Won over 700 games in his coaching career. Great coach, whatever. Learned a lot about being away from home, how to be by yourself a lot. Lot of TV shows, man. Hey, in the Midwest that I was watching back then, he humbled me with, be who Rob Nickens is. And him and Coach Pounds, who was also the assistant and associate head coach at Cloud County, man, were father figures to me, and they're still in my life to the day. Played for Mike Lonigan at Catholic University, who coached at George Washington. Did a great job with me also, man. I take a lot of credit, give a lot of credit to Coach Lonigan, because he was somebody that believed in me also, man. And just to be able to play college basketball is a blessing. So that's where my college basketball career, and my basketball career after Spingarn was playing for Coach Ergenbrack and Coach Mike Lonigan. So like I said, I give all the credit to them guys, because like I said, this day and time, or just back then, a lot of people don't play college basketball, man. It's a 0.1% chance that you want to play at the next level. So for me to be able to have that opportunity to play at that level, man, it taught me a lot. And I always try to carry that today with the kids that I'm helping today to get them to understand, look, man, this is a blessing. If you get an opportunity to get a scholarship or play at the next level, you better take it in that it doesn't happen for everybody.
And we're gonna touch a little bit on that more about that, because that's important. That's something I've been preaching in my content and stuff. I give you numbers, and the numbers don't look good. They're 18,216 NCAA men's basketball players, right? 21% of them made to go pro or go overseas.
Correct.
Only 1.6 makes the NBA.
1.6.
Math ain't that good, coach, but it's a lot of kids.
But kids don't understand.
One more stat for you. In football, there's 78,816 football players. 2.6% make the pros. So we're gonna touch on that a little later, and we're gonna talk more about that, because that's gonna lead us to some other things I want to talk about. But tell me something. I want to touch a little bit on some of the obstacles you faced, because you came from DC, was predominantly black at the time. You went to Kansas. You was away from your homes, your homies, and your family. Talk about some of the things that you had to learn going away from home and being an adult and playing basketball and have responsibilities. What type of culture shock?
Just being. I went to a school where I think it was 20 blacks in the school at the time. We dealt with a lot back then. Not being liked or whatever it may be, but Coach was there. And like I say, he was a father to me. So, I trusted in him, and, him and Coach Pounds, Coach Ergenbrack and Coach Pounds they wanted me to see that side of the world, because it would help me in everyday life. So the challenges are, man, hey, here comes a kid from Washington, D.C. He's out in the Midwest. You dealing with everything you can deal with, man. Just people see you in the street and just don't like you, but don't know nothing about you. And it took me a while to adjust, but I did. And now I take that back and tell my guys now that, man, hey, you have to be able to deal with anything that comes across your, you're facing the game of life. But at the end of the day, man, you have to do this for God. And that's how I live my life. I live my life, man, doing everything I do is for the Lord. And if I continue to live my life like that, He's going to continue to bless me, man, with all the blessings that I've had. I don't worry about anything. When I go to sleep at night, man, I know that I did it for God. And, whoever don't like it, then you got to answer to Him. Because on Judgment Day, when I step to the gates and He says, Rob Nickens, job well done, I'm going to hug God. So that's how I look at it, man.
So, after playing basketball, what led you to say, I want to coach? Because coaching is a different animal for people who haven't coached. Long nights, right? Your blood pressure stay up.
Everybody think they can do it.
You don't get paid the most. You don't really have a life when you commit. So like someone like yourself, and I know when I coach, I did. You stay up all night breaking down film. You thinking about what you could have did and how you gonna get this player to do that. Who influenced you, or what happened in your life to say this is what I want to do?
The guy that I tell her, everybody that started my coaching career, was Mitch Creedle. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit here. I'm not in this seat if it wasn't for Mitch Creedle. And what's so funny was I was
not to cut you off, Coach, but same here. Because remember, we was on that same staff together. He gave me
Von Jones, Brian Hill.
Yep,
that was a tremendous staff. And you got to look what guys went from that staff. What they did in high school basketball pretty much dominated the area.
Yes.
Brian Hill was outstanding.
Y'all was competing against each other.
And that's what I'm saying. Von Jones, man, is one of the best of all time in DC basketball history. So, and Brian Hill, man, Baloo, and being out with JTC when he was out there, Brian could coach, man. And them guys are like brothers to me today. But it was Mitch Creedle because I was at coaching boys club basketball, man. And, Mitch Creedle took the girls' job at Cadosa. And he was like, hey, man, I'm about to take the girls' job at Cadosa. I want you to come with me. Coach the JV. I was already coaching them kids in the boys club in number 10. Ricky Branham and, Miko and all them back in the day. Muhammad Hill and them. So I was coaching them guys in the club. So Mitch was like, man, they're going to be the younger kids at Cadosa. And I got on Lindsay's staff at Cadosa. A lot of people don't know I coached at Cadosa, but I was at Cadosa for a couple of years. And what happened was Mitch said, man, I want to transfer over to the boys' side. And when he said that, we had a meeting. It was a thing where you going to go with me or you going to stay at Cadosa, because I could have stayed. And because he started me in the game, I'm loyal. I was like, I'm going with you. So he got me the head JV coaching job at MM. And he was the head boys varsity coach at MM. And we had a mission to attack this city with recruiting the best 8th graders in the area. And me and Mitch did that. I was pretty much his recruiting coordinator at MM. And we turned a program that
was nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and say it for you. I went to Wilson, and when I saw MM on the schedule, I'm like, I'm getting my stats up. I'm going for 30 tonight. So y'all took a program that was known. Let's keep it real. It was known for barbershop and
it was a nursing trade. Come on, man. We turned it into a power, and I was the JV coach, man. I went 25-0 and won the JV City Championship at MM Washington. And what happened was, Mitch is a unique person, man. I say it all the time, he's abnormal. Because once Mitch sees a vision or Mitch has something that he wants to accomplish, like even with his movies now, he's, I think, one of the best movies producers in the world. That's to me.
I had a guest on last week, Alfonso Lee. He spoke the same things about Mitch. So it's funny that as I go through this world, we always see that it come back to a certain people. And he's one of the guys I'm definitely going to be on this show.
Because you got to give Mitch.
Mitch has cultivated so many.
He's helped so many kids. He's helped so many adults like myself.
Yes.
So with Mitch being an MPD detective, he would get calls during games sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And he would be like, hey, I got to go. That's his job. He gone. And I remember we was playing H.D. Wilson, man. Hostile game. Man, it's tough, man. He got the call. Why he get the call that night? I don't know. But the call, and he was like, you and Vaughn need to take care and handle this. And I took it over, and we won the game. And the next day, I get to him in Washington, and he was like, it's just too much. I can't keep doing both, man, because at any time something can happen.
And he got to go.
Yeah. I'm going to talk to Miss Page about you taking over the program in Washington. He had the conversation with Miss Page, and she was like, yeah, I want Rob to take it over, and I'm going to back him 1,000% with your blessing. And I took that program over, man, and I was confident in taking it over because, like I said, Vaughn Jones, man, people don't talk about Vaughn. I'm going to talk about him on here today.
Please.
Vaughn is one of the best zone coaches that I've ever been around in my career. Everybody knows that Rob Nickens is an up-tempo, man-to-man pressure. We're going to come after you. But here and there, you got to slow it down. You got to be able to play some zone here and there. And Vaughn Jones taught me zone defenses. Him and Reese Morgan, I would say, who was my athletic director. And it was just funny how everything is coming full circle. He's now the athletic director is H.D. Wilson. Him and Vaughn taught me so much about zone defenses, man, that I use when I'm ever in trouble. I always had that in my back pocket. Because people know how we want to play, but sometimes you can't play like you want to play all the time.
Right.
So I have that in my back pocket. But them the two guys that taught me that. And like I say, I took over MM, and I never looked back. I knew once I got in that seat, I was going to have to bring good people around me. I brought in Khalid Bostic, who's been my trusted assistant at Roosevelt for over the last 15, 16 years. I've always had great people around me as coaches. And if you know at Roosevelt, man, into this past year, because Dave Miles now is the head coach of Easton, and Donald Griggs, who's also the new head coach of Cadoza, was on my staff, and Keon Gaskins and H.D. Wilson, who's the head coach, was the head coach of Wilson. Them three guys on my staff. So other than that, I haven't had a lot of turnaround in my program with coaches. Tony Langley, Keith Jones, William Jones, all these guys, have been around me for a while. Troy Stamps, who played for me, who just took a college job in Arkansas, was my JV coach. So we pushing guys out the nest, and that's what it's all about. But Mitch is the guy. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. I would not be sitting in the seat talking to you as a coach if it wasn't for Mitch Credo, and I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart because he saw something in me, and he had enough trust in me. They could have went any route they wanted to go, but because Miss Page really, really did, Mitch had her ear. I ain't going to see him play, and it was because he was the guy. Yeah, she saw what he did. She trusted him, and she could have went any route, but she chose me. Yeah. And I look back on it now, 27 some odd years later.
Hey,
I think I'm doing a pretty decent job.
Them days I remember like the back of my hand, man, because at that time I was so young.
Me too. I had all my head.
Yeah, right. We wasn't ball. And I remember, man. I always talk about that coaching staff.
Yes.
Because for me, if it wasn't for you guys, man, I wouldn't know half the stuff I know. And I was like a sponge, and I know I probably used to get on y'all nerves because I stayed in your hip pocket, and I was always asking. I was always asking, and I knew the game, but I didn't know. I had never coached before, and y'all cultivated so many things, man. And every time I called y'all, I asked you a question. We always been there for each other.
Correct.
Even when I was coaching at Wilson, they was looking at us like, why we hugging? And listen, that's my man. The game is over.
Yeah, exactly. Always
the game is over. That's my man.
Me and Damon Singletary like that right now. He's the head coach at Dunbar. People don't understand. Been knowing this guy since I was 4 years old, man. We jump gates together, man.
Loyalty,
I'm not gonna change because of a basketball game. The loyalty I have for my friends, so who I feel as though is like my brother. So yep.
And so over the years, you have taught, you develop a lot of kids in their skill set development. Is there a roadmap? Is there a routine, or is there, a map that you have and you use to build a player's skill set? And if it is, can you elaborate on it and what that process is?
We do the same drills every day. every kid in my program does the same drills every day, whether that's Nickens, triple threat. We do all the bases, man. Jump stops,
Yes.
fake a pass to make a pass.
Yes.
I've never changed what we do. I see all these, and I take nothing from trainers in the world. I mean,
Please talk about that.
everybody can train, how they want to train. I respect that, because everybody, I run my program the way that I want to run the Milkhouse program. So I'm not going to sit here in this seat and say anything negative about the way people train. All I can say to you is, when I was taught the game of basketball by Jimmy Watkins and Bill Butler and Mr. Wide, they did basic drills. They taught me, man, how to do an up and under, how to do a step through, how to turn and face.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Hey, Rob, you better not do that without pivoting. Just the little things.
Everything off 2 feet. I remember
Everything
always
off,
say
everything off 2 feet.
I don't want to see no Figaro.
I tell my big guys now, man, you can't do anything till you catch the ball. Why are you trying to do anything move while you ain't caught the ball yet? So that's what we teach at the Milkhouse, man. The fundamentals of the game. I never try to change guys' shots or things like that. I want kids to be comfortable in their space, but I am going to show you the proper shooting techniques that it takes to make a jump shot. You know what I'm saying? You can't shoot a jump shot and you on the floor. It's just not happening. So that's been my philosophy, is to be able to show kids, hey man, look at the, everybody wants to be Steph Curry. Everybody wants to be, Chris Paul now, when guys have success, but master something that you can do. That's what, I tell my kids, at Roosevelt, like, hey, if you're a pretty good jump shooter, let's be a great jump shooter. Let's get up 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's get up 1,000, man. And let's work on perfecting, the same shooting rhythm every time you let the ball go. And then I think your shot will become better. So, no, it's not a secret to it. The belief in being good is something that I preach, though.
And I wanted you to touch on something too, because earlier you were saying that you don't feel like you're a great X's and O's guy. But one of my philosophy is about coaching. It's so much more to coaching kids than being X's and O's.
I want to talk about that though. Don't get it twisted.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah.
I said that because I'm always trying to get better. Mm-hmm. I believe that Rob Nickens has won a lot of basketball games with that Bull.
Absolutely.
But I would never get comfortable in this seat saying that I'm great at doing something. I want to be better. I called Eric Singletary last week. Eric Singletary at Sidwell, man, runs a heck of an open offense. He passes crisp, cutting is crisp, screening is crisp. I told him to come down and sit with you, man, and perfect or try to learn what you're doing. Absolutely. So I believe in my seat. Anytime you in this seat and you say, oh, man, you're great at that or you're great at that, it's no more growth for learning. And I would never, ever tell anybody I'm the best X and O coach in America. No, because I want to get better. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, I think I'm one of the best. And I've proven time and time again with our pressure and what we do that man to man can coach on the defensive side. That's what I want to do anyway. I want to win championships with defense, offense. My kids will tell you, man, I give them the freedom. Man, they can shoot it from the beltway. But you got to play defense at Roosevelt if you want to be on the floor.
And I think more so of what I was saying about you, Coach Rob, is what makes you great, though, is how you handle these kids, these relationships, because these kids believe in you. And they will run through that wall if you told them to. Correct. So for me, I've played against, and I had a coach, and he was a great X's and O's guy. Mm-hmm. But I didn't believe in him. I didn't believe what he was preaching to me. I didn't have a relationship with him. So so talk about that, because I think that's one of the things that makes you great, and you sustain it.
With me, I would say, man, the one thing that Roosevelt kids know is that, man, that God loves me outside of basketball. I think that has been the model to my success. The guy knows that, hey, man, if I got a problem at 4 o'clock in the morning, I can call him, and he on his way. Yep. And that relationship, and that's not with one kid. I would pretty much say, any kid I've ever coached will tell you, man, no matter what has been rough, forget the basketball part of it, whether it's been school, I'm struggling with something academically. Hey, whether I ain't eat last night, because we deal with that. People don't understand. We deal with that.
All the time.
I've had calls about guys being homeless. I've had calls about, hey man, my brother got killed. I mean, I've had so many calls that it's mind boggling. But the one thing that I've always preached in my program is that this program is built on God and love. And if you build, if kids believe that, then they know, hey man, forget the basketball part. Yeah, I tell my kids all the time, man, you playing basketball, for yourself, your school, and to get yourself to the next level. Man, Coach Rob gonna take care of everything if you do what you're supposed to do on the floor. Or if you do what you're supposed to do in the classroom, we're gonna take care of it in the end. And I know my kids believe in me because of that. They believe in me because they say, man, he could care less, man, if I made the jump shot. Man, when my grandmother died, he was on the front row at the funeral. And he was there for me. So when that love and that passion, I think that you see from me at 8 o'clock at night comes from me building relationships with my kids, man, that start when I bring them in the ninth grade. That, every year I tell my coaches, man, graduation day, I'm not going to cry. Every year. Or senior night, man. Them are my two toughest nights of the year. Senior night and graduation night. Because you see your babies,
Yep.
they about to go into the real world, and you want to make sure you prepared them the right way to go in the real world. Whether that's being in the career field, or whether that's being playing college basketball, or whether it's just going to school to get an education. You want to make sure that you put these kids in position to be successful. I always tell guys I want them to come back to me with their kids and introduce them to me and be like, Coach Rob, that's the guy that saved my life. That's how I want to be remembered. So that's what it's about, Mike. That I think it's all about the love and God and my program that has propelled us to where we are today. That's what it's all about.
And that's very important because one of the things I love is seeing my kids and seeing the kids, especially the ones that got on my nerves.
Oh, man.
And I was like, I don't know if they're gonna make it, but that's my girl.
Right.
And I see them now, and they love me, and they
Yup.
hug me, and they productive citizens. They working. That's more for me than anything I can get paid because that's changing somebody's life.
Correct.
And there were a lot of people along the way that helped me and you, and we have to give back. You know what I'm saying? This is our community. We DC born and raised.
Yes.
We got to take care of our kids because they all
Yes.
our kids. And
Yes.
the only way to start back to getting back to these things, like I said earlier, man, is brothers like me and yourself just keep doing what we doing and using these platforms that we have and just putting it out there because these kids need it.
Yes, all the time.
They need it,
All the time.
and I think we, with all the knowledge, inside the game, outside the game that we have. We have to share it with.
Yes.
We have to share it with.
Yes. Yes.
So, what was the toughest thing about developing the kids? Because we talked about the kids may be hungry. He may not have. They do a lot of joning. They'll fire you up. You ain't got the clothes on. These kids go through a lot of things. They got pressures about smoking and getting high and selling. So, talk. What was the toughest thing about? Because every kid is not going to be perfect. They're not going to be the straight A kid. No. And I know for a fact you relish in taking those kids and turning them around. So talk about the toughest thing about that.
My thing is I want the kid that grew up in the inner city that have challenges. I want that kid. Because pretty much that was me. So, I see that in myself. I had a strong mom though that didn't let it affect us. Because she was on us like white on rice. But the challenges, man, just like prime example, man. James Pitts, my kid, that was the MVP of the city championship game this a year, 16 months ago now, a year and a half ago. His mom died going into his senior year. He had 4 siblings, young siblings under him.
Wow.
James is a great kid. But he was having problems, man, with, your mom died your senior year. What can Coach Rob say to say, what do I say? So with him, I had to take steps, man. It was hard at first. He didn't want to come to school anymore. Okay, that's explainable. His mom set so many goals for him to get to the next level. He really wasn't feeling basketball. You got 4 siblings underneath you that you want to be there for. You don't know how to handle that because you're only 17, 18-year-old yourself. Your whole living conditions change. I mean, I can go on and on. I'm happy to say that, man. I kept getting on him and getting on him and getting on him. It got to a point where I didn't want to get on him in the way I normally get on him because I understood. But then the reality kicked in at the end. Like, hey, come on, man. If you don't do this, you don't get on him, he's not gonna graduate this year. So I got on him, and I'm happy to say that, man, he graduated, and he's gonna play for Win West next year at PG Community College. We want to keep him close to home because of everything that's going on with the siblings and whatever. But he's going to hopefully get an opportunity to play college basketball. But he was a kid that was on the verge of giving up, and you can understand why. I lost my mom. I mean, he dealt with that. But like I said, he knew that I loved him. I called him every day. If he needed something, I was there. I made the connection with the school to make sure, man, we can get food out to them or whatever they need, clothing. Um, you know, it was just Elijah Fagan, man, with the rec department, worked with me with that, helping James. So many people helped out, man. Like I said, my principal, Mr. Ross, and my athletic director, Reginald Stevens. Just so many people helped to keep that kid on the straight path, but it was tough. So here go kid, like I said, they go from being the MVP of the city championship game to rock bottom in 3 months, and nobody sees that part. You just saw him on the floor at 8 o'clock at night win the city championship MVP, but then 2 months later, a month and a half later, life is over. It's pretty much. Yeah, mom's gone. So
yeah, that's tough.
That's the toughness.
That's tough for a grown man.
Yo, that was. I mean, I can't imagine what he went through. I haven't lost my mom.
I lost mine about 10 years.
There you go. So I mean, you understand the pain. So I mean, but I wanted to be there for him. But that's what we deal with every day. We deal with situations that come up like that with James, and you can't run from it. You got to be here. Kids see all the stuff in the street that's going on today, man. I need to smoke this, or I need to drink this. I had meetings with my guys about doing the right thing all the time, man. And I've even brought Mitch in when the crime rate was really, when all these shootings and everything going on. I called Mitch. I said, look, man, I need you to come in here, and I need you to come in and talk to my kids about what's really going on in this world and show them what's going on out in this world. You know what I'm saying? He did it for me. He came in there, man, and, he showed some stuff that, hey, they needed to see. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not what you think it is. Hey, man, I don't think people believe me. Once you die, you don't come back. So I wanted him to show that platform like, hey, stay your butt in school, play some basketball, and do the right thing. Because that world out there is a whole different world.
Whole different animal.
So, different animal. That's what we deal with, man. But to be positive all the time and give kids an outlet, that's what I want to do. And that's what we do.
And you have been doing an outstanding job. I
appreciate it.
So that kind of segues to what I'm saying. So what my next question.
Okay.
What's the importance of education by way of attending college and getting degrees and stuff? Because we talked about all them other things. So how important is that aspect of it? Because ultimately we want to provide for our families. But how important is that aspect, that education aspect?
Oh, it's very important. I mean, you want these kids to be able to have something to come back to. Basketball, the ball's going to stop bouncing one day. And, like I said it earlier, I want my guys to come back. I have 7 guys that got a chance to play professional basketball, but pretty much out of the 7, 2 are doing something professional in the world great with their jobs, and the other ones that's playing have degrees to fall back on and do something when it's over. So you want to definitely talk about that and keep these kids going forward with that. The career field, I got a couple of guys that didn't play college basketball, but they're in the police and fire department. So I have to talk about that aspect. Long as it's something positive that you're doing and you're making a great working income and you can take care of your kids and your family, I got a lot of respect for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say, like you said, 0.1% chance that everybody's going to get us a chance to play college basketball. It's not going to happen, but we still got to push these kids to be able to do things positive in the world. I got one kid that, Roosevelt has a global study program. We had one of the best culinary art programs in the area. Kid is working as a chef on a cruise ship.
sir.
And he's seeing he's seeing the whole world, and he's cooking, seeing the whole world, and probably making 70, 80,000. But you gotta think everything is paid for, and he's traveling all over the world. So I mean, everybody has their path in life, but I preach positive path. That's what I preach, man. Long as it's positive, then Coach Rob's gonna support you. So yeah, that's what it's all about with me, Mike.
Yeah. And that's one of my things for starting upper echelon. Um, Not so much, of course, it's the marketing aspect, but it's about impacting lives and showing these kids that are 17 and 18 the abundance of doors that can open. If you take advantage of your platform that you have in college, because this will be probably the best time of your life.
Correct.
You may never reach. There's so many people that play college basketball and they good, and everybody know who they are, and they can use them platforms, and they may not go pro, but while they in school, you use them platforms. You start your own business, you start your own profit, find your niche and where you want to go, so that you can be prepared. Because when the ball stops, it stops.
Yeah.
And that's one of the tough things for athletes, is when it stops. How do you adjust to it? And we're gonna get a little more into that. But I got one more question for you before we get into that. A lot of people don't know, and I know is you are a roving leader. You are a roving leader. And so I wanted to touch on that because, that's another avenue that I know that you have used to touch this community. And so tell everybody what a roving leader is and kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis, and so they can understand what I mean when I say that's another avenue that you impact their lives.
Well, as a roving leader, I'm in the community. I'm in the Ward 4 area. I'm a roving leader in Ward 4, up by Roosevelt. Roosevelt is pretty much my school in that community that I go into pretty much every day. Raymond also. But I'm outreach worker for the Department of Parks and Recreation, and we deal with at-risk youth ages 9 to 21. And we pretty much want to make an impact in any kid's life that has problems in the community. It doesn't matter what it may be. Whether you're in some type of trouble, you need a job.
Yeah.
I mean, we can say it's whatever. I mean, you educational piece, truancy, you need clothes. Our job is to come in and make an impact. And I've been doing that for the last 22 years. Alonzo Holloway Cheese was our supervisor for a long time. He retired now. He's under Danielle Hunter, she's doing a great job with it. We get out in the communities, man. We show. We got the movie night out right now, man. The Skate Mobile, Fun Wagon. We in
Fun wagon. I ain't heard that in a long time.
we in the schools, man, dealing with, like I said, any problems that go in the schools, mediations, man. We can go on and on about what we do. But like I said, the job and the vision is to make an impact on any kid that's in the community. Whether he's a great kid, a good kid, or a trouble kid. We don't discriminate when it comes to helping these youth. And I've had so many under that window that translates over to the Roosevelt side, where it might be a kid that I get to play for me because he's been in some type of trouble. But I want to redirect that behavior and now put him on a positive path where I can say, well, oh, not only does he play basketball for me, now I done took him out the street where he was in the street doing something negative. So that's the great thing about my job, that I love being a roving leader, that I can impact kids from all walks of life. It ain't, the people see Rob Nickens at 8 o'clock at night and say, oh, Rose been win a basketball game. But you don't know, man. I've been doing work. I've been working all day before we even get to the night where I ain't even been near Roosevelt. I've been up in Riggs Park, dealing with my youngers up in Riggs Park, trying to make sure they got job placement and things like that. So it's been really, really a great situation for me because I can impact kids all day long. The basketball part, I guess, is the icing on the cake.
That's what you love to do.
Yeah, I love to do it, but like I said, that I love my job as a roving leader because I can impact so many kids, man. And something, what's crazy? Everybody calls me Coach Rob, but everybody knows I'm a roving leader. So that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't trade it for the world, because at the end of the day, as long as I'm impacting lives, it is what it is.
And I wanted you to touch on that because I knew and I know how important role. I used to work at Wilson and things, so and
Yeah,
I see when they come in the impact that
B
they can
West,
have. Yes,
Angie Venable.
Angie, yep,
Yeah,
and,
them
they
great people, man. They do outstanding jobs in the
yes they
community.
do.
Like I said, Damon Singletary, who's the head basketball coach at Dunbar, he's a roving leader. You know what I'm saying? Darby Clark, Renee Tellerberg. We got so many great people that work in our program, man. Bridget, who's our field coordinator and field manager. D Baker, who's over top of everything we do, man, with all the mobile stuff that we do. We got great people that I'm around. Like I said, Danielle is doing a great job with that. With our program, man. So to be able to, to impact these kids the way that we do on a daily basis, man, is special. And next weekend we having Roving Leader Day next Saturday, over down Langdon Park, and it's gonna be big. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna impact that community, have people come out, man. We're gonna cook out and do everything we can do to help these kids, man. So, you know, my friend that died, Ricardo Dorn, over in that War 5 area, man. Rest in peace, Cardo, man. Your legacy will not be forgotten by me, man. His book bag drive every year, man. Working with Councilman Kenya McDuffie, over in that community, man, was big. I mean, he making sure kids got clothes and things like that. Like I said, we're gonna keep his legacy alive, but he was a roving leader, man. He was assistant basketball coach at Dunbar. So it just goes to show it all goes hand in hand. And I take my hat off to all my fellow coworkers who I work with. Man, I love them, man. They do great and they do outstanding work year round.
And I wanted to bring some attention to that because I know how much work you guys do, and I want to to shine a little light on the roving leaders because they are important in the community. Working in the schools, I know how important it is. But we're gonna jump right into the name, image, and the likeness. Name, image, and likeness that we was talking about. So give me your thoughts about it because we talked about how the kids should take advantage of the platform and build their brands and their businesses outside the game. How do you think it's going to affect the game from the coaching perspective and the players' perspective?
From the player perspective, I think the imaging part, man. I mean, kids gonna blow up. I mean, let's cut the jokes. I mean, you get you about to get your money. I mean,
Yep.
this is what we've been talking about. It's been talked about for a long time, but you're gonna be able to see a lot of kids are going to change. Their social media is going to be able to help them make money, and that's something that I mean. When I heard about it, I was like, wow, it's about to be a whole different world. And I want to see it, but I know the impact of it is going to have. I mean, you see already, man, guys getting endorsement deals that to me are not that good, but they got a $2 million endorsement deal on the table with
because it's about their social media.
Because of their father.
It's about their father.
Yeah. So I mean, with that, and then the coaching part of it, you're gonna have to be able to adjust. I mean, here we go again. But we've adjusted to so many things over the years. But like I said, for me, been in the game a long time. But you're gonna have to be able to adjust to this and understand that this is gonna be the new wave of how things are gonna be going. And it's opened the door for kids to be able to be successful in a whole nother way. And that's what's happening.
So elaborate a little bit about how important it is for them because we gave out the numbers and all that stuff. So how important is it just for these kids to understand that this platform can lead to so many
different things. You can pretty much start everything you want to do in your life now. You don't have to wait. Your business aspirations, you lock in now. Financially, you lock in. You say, I'm gonna put this away. I'm gonna save this for this, and then you build your brand. So, yeah, I mean, if you really understand the business of making money, this is it. This is it.
And we weren't taught that.
No, never.
For us growing up, for me to be a business owner, I own more than one business. That was unimaginable.
I can't tell
to me at that time.
I can't tell exactly. I can't even tell you like if I had social media when I was playing. Probably be the best guy in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'll be, hey Mike, man, come on, man. I know when me and Carter and Warren and Moochie and Tiger used to go to the boys club, man. We was throwing the basketball off the wall, dunking backwards, sideways. All that stuff will be on social media, man. I probably have 1 million followers, man, and stuff like that.
I said the same thing, and I think more of me would be because I'm so small.
Right.
So people would never expect to see what they're gonna see.
Right, but just I mean, I've seen, and this is a true story. I've seen a kid make a video of him doing some stuff on the court, sent it to a school, and got offered.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, all the and I mean, they do that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's blown up so big that all it takes is for one person to get it.
That's it.
And it could change your whole life. So yeah, that's
and that leads into changing generational wealth, because the amount
correct.
Of kids that have access to this now, because we gave out the numbers, we're talking about over 100,000 kids every year that they're going to be in college and they have the opportunity. This is life changing.
Yes.
If you use your platform, build your brand,
it's life changing.
Multiple streams of income. By the time you leave college, you set.
You
already got your path going to the
good.
next level.
You're good. Whether you make it or not.
Whether you make it or not,
yeah,
you're good. And that's the most important part. Because once again, like what you have been doing is producing good citizens, people who have jobs and careers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the ultimate goal.
Yes.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yep.
And so the transfer portal. Let's touch on the transfer portal, because there's been a lot of talk about it lately, and some say well the coaches, they can go whenever they want. So let's talk about this transfer.
You know what's crazy? The transfer portal at the college level, but I'm gonna say the transfer portal at the high school level. You know what I'm gonna tell you what it taught me, and I'm gonna be real. When I look at the transfer portal, or I look at the transferring period, as in my seat as a coach, because 3 years ago, man, I'm in Punta Cana, man, on vacation. And I had 4 kids transfer out my program while I was on vacation.
Wow.
And let's get it correct. All 4 guys are doing okay. Mm-hmm. All 4 guys I still love like my children. Mm-hmm. One is at Alabama, who's about to, I think, make a major impact in the SEC this year. The other one's at the University of Maryland, who I think is one of the best guys in the country if he ever gets his opportunity to show people that he can play. The other one led the area in scoring this past year at 30 points a night. And another one transferred to another school and is doing pretty good now at the college level also. The opportunity to move on and make a decision on where you want to go is up to you. And I'm going to say that in this platform, that is up to you. But what happens is that it's just so many people doing it we never paid attention to. That's what the transfer portal is. Like, I'm looking at, what's the big youngin at Illinois? Claiborne, whatever.
Yeah, the
monster.
Yeah, the monster.
He left. He's leaving Illinois.
Cofield. Yeah, Cofield or something like that. Yeah.
He's leaving Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he dominated Big Ten basketball last year. Yeah. But he's transferring.
Yeah.
The kid that was at Georgetown, Wahab.
He went to Maryland.
He's at Maryland. You look at Shackelford, who played at Alabama, who lit the SEC up last year. He left. It's just like it's a pattern. And I'm looking at guys that, what you going to do in the next place that you just did it at Alabama in the SEC on a big stage. What's going to happen when you move on? And what happens is then, if your success is not as good as it was where you was, now you're messing up your opportunity to go to the league or wherever you're trying to go after that. So that's why
you get a label too.
You get a label that you jumping ship. Mm-hmm. But like I said, in the game of life and in the game of basketball, you can make your decision. And whoever makes a decision for them, that's their decision. It's not. I'm not gonna sit here and talk negative about the portal. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I just don't understand it. Mm-hmm. But like I said again, if Rob niggas want to go out here tomorrow and buy a red car, it's my decision.
That's right.
You can't, and you just got to live with it. And as a coach, I tell kids all the time, if you don't want to be at Roosevelt and you go somewhere else, Coach Robert's not going to stop liking you. I'm not going to stop loving you. If anything, If you need me, hey man, you call me. I'm not gonna be mad. Man, I've faced kids that have left my program and played against a man, and after the game, I can't wait to get over there and hug them. I'm just being real because this life is bigger than basketball, man. I can kid left. I mean, I hear about kids leaving all the time. You hear it all the time, man. This kid left. This kid went here. He went here. Hey, man, if the kid feels as though the only person control the kid leaving is the parents and that kid. That's it. I cannot get a parent to come, the kid to come with the Roosevelt and register himself. Parent got to register. So evidently his mom wants him to go to Roosevelt. Coach Rob ain't take him.
That's right. Yeah.
Think about that. If it's a kid that's at Dunbar and he wants to go to Roosevelt and he's 16 years old, he didn't come up to 13th Street and register himself.
No, sir.
His mom made a decision to come register him. But they'll say, hey, Coach Rob took my kid, right? But that's what happens, man. And I understand that now. And, you know, me being in the position of what happened to me, it opened my eyes to, man, hey, man, whoever wants to be in your program,
they're going to be there.
They're going to be there in the end. That's how I look at it. So the transfer portal is vicious, man. We got kids moving all over the country. Man, you wake up tomorrow morning, man. I saw something today. Wake up tomorrow, this kid left, this kid went here, this kid went here. Hey, man.
And, you know, I'm neutral on it. You know, I feel like people should make their own decisions. But one thing about, I will say that, you know, sometimes it creates a level form where, you know, people think that they're not committed.
Oh, for sure.
So I always, when I talk, you know, ask people, I try to tell the kids, just look at the decision and just, you know, because unfortunately it's going to happen. You know, people are looking for people who are committed, and sometimes they can say, oh, we jump ship. And that may not, like you stated, that may not be the thing. It might be a better decision for them.
Yeah.
So I just feel like,
it could be a better decision. I mean, I've had a kid leave because, man, they was having family issues, man, and grandma was sick. He had to be home to take care of grandma, and the school was closer to where you gotta go. I ain't gonna sit and say don't go take care of your grandmother. She's sick
and see,
in the school 2 miles away from your house.
That's what separate you from the best. Somebody can go learn the X's and O's that you know. You know, people can learn that, but what they can't learn is your passion for the kids,
right,
your commitment to them,
right,
and it shows throughout the years because you just don't give up on them, and that's not something that you can teach, and it's needed more in the game, right, because, you know, I understand we all trying to take care of ourselves and stuff, but when you say it's about the kids, put the kids first and really make it about the kids. And that's why when Coach Rob say, and they leave and I still hug them, because you care about them. You really wasn't trying to use them for your own advantage. You really genuinely care about them being a good person.
I've been in the game a long time, man. It's not about nah. I want these kids to always say, man, he was good to me. And, you know, you know what's so funny? I have so many kids that didn't come to Roosevelt that see me, and they say to me, man, I should have came to Roosevelt, man. So they go to tell you, man, that, hey, man, you know, I mean, they went wherever. And, you know, me, one thing I'm going to use with this platform, man, I've learned that you never talk negative about other coaches. Right. Because everybody has, in this game of basketball and in the game of coaching, I hear people all the time, like a couple of weeks ago, like the coach in Milwaukee, man, people say, man, he can't coach or whatever it may be. He on the biggest stage, though. Whether he can't coach, whatever your opinion is, the man playing for a world championship. And he's making millions of dollars doing it. So
he's sometimes good. He knows something.
he didn't get to that stage being
above.
I mean, you just don't get to that stage. But we know you know, everybody's undefeated in the bleachers. The only person, like I tell people all the time, and I was talking to my staff about this one day. I said the only person that goes home after a loss that has to deal with the consequences is the losing coach. Most of the time, the kids, after they lose, whatever, a couple of hours later,
they good.
Mm-hmm. The winning coach, he good. He getting his car for another day. He good. He gonna listen to his music on the way home. His staff is good. The winning players ain't. They good. They won the game. Yeah. But the losing coach is only good until his next game. And he got to go home and deal with, hey, man, I lost the night. What do I do to get this back to where it needs to be?
What did I do wrong?
What did I do wrong? I mean, it's a million things going through your head that you thinking you got to correct. And a lot of times, you ain't shoot 8 for 21 from the free throw line. That would have won the game, but it's your play. But you
gotta take that.
Gotta take the hit. And that's why I say about the hot seat. A lot of people think they can get in that hot seat. It'll burn them alive. But you can talk about me and the decision that I made and all that with this crowd of a couple of thousand is loud and they want to see you go down. It's unreal. But I've been in it so long. Everything's on the move. Everything's on the move.
Like that.
And then if the decision was wrong, yeah, your sister coach, I got a great staff. We're going to deal with it together. But at the end of the day, the only person getting blamed is Rob Nickens.
That's it. Because ultimately you gave the okay or the nay. So
and
start with you.
That's what I'm saying. And that's I ain't gonna say it's fair or unfair. That's the game. That's the business. But now, because I've been in for so long, the experiences of the success side of it helps you when you don't get to the finish line all the time. You know what I'm saying? It helps you with the negative side of it too, where you can move on. Because, man, I'm saying, when I was a young coach in the game, man, I'm sitting in the dock, man, trying Teddy Pendergrass, trying to figure out, like, hey, man, turn off the lights. What's up? Mm-hmm. But now, hey, man, outside of it being a championship game where you can't recover or elimination game, you know how to get back on your horse. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, people don't see that side.
Yeah. So, my last question for you, and in 2 minutes or less, tell me, what advice would you give the young athletes out there right now that are dreaming about going to Alabama? They want to go this place. What is the best advice you can give them so that they can obtain them dreams? If you had to tell them anything, what would be what you tell them?
Well, every kid has dreams and aspirations to play at the highest level, and you should. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you shouldn't. But let's be realistic. It's very hard to play at that level. Pretty much at that level, it's just like the NBA. You got to be the best of the best. If you're talking about Alabama, a Division I school, and they got 13 scholarships, and they recruit nationally all over the country to find the best 13 for their program.
That's right.
It makes it tough. So I would say to you, yeah, have dreams and aspirations, but also have an open mind to what is my backup plan if that does not happen. A lot of kids don't have a backup plan. They see Division I, and they say, hey, I have to play Division I basketball, and sometimes it's not realistic that you're going to play Division I basketball. NAIA, Division II, JUCO, prep. There's a lot of other platforms and ways that you can get to where you need to get to with hard work. Ja Morant, for example, was not a national recruit. To me, Ja Morant is the top 5 point guard in the NBA today. Ja Morant was in a gym. Matter of fact, he wasn't even in the main gym. He was in the second gym. And he went on somebody's head, and the coach went and got a hot dog, heard all the noise.
And went over there
and saw him, and then was like, hey, that kid's a pro. And it happened just like that. So my advice would be is that you got to understand the dreams and everything that you want, it's other kids that want that same opportunity. So if you say, I'm going to take off today and not work, remember that kid that you fighting or competing against is working when you taking off. That's number one. Number two, condition your mind to understand that it's going to be a long haul. You're going to have a lot of ups and downs in the journey. But at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to get somebody to pay for your education for free. I don't care what level it is. That's number two. And then always believing in yourself. You got to believe in yourself, man. A lot of people are going to put you down. A lot of people are going to tell you not that good, whatever it may be. But you have to believe in yourself. And if you do that, in the end, I believe that God has a plan for you. That's just the way it is. And I preach that to my kids, man. Everybody is not going to become a Division I basketball player tonight, but with hard work and being able to continue your mission on getting better, then you'll get to the end of where you need to be. But like I said, you talk about, it means a lot of guys that's playing the NBA that didn't believe they would be in the NBA, but it only takes that one shot. And when you out here playing against, on the AAU circuit or you playing with your high school team, you can't take nights off. You never know who's watching.
Never know.
We got guys, kids that take nights off. You say, I'm not going to play this hard today like I played yesterday. All it takes is one time for a college recruiter to be in the building and he's looking at you and you don't even know he's a college recruiter and you're taking the night off and you blowing your opportunity. You're blowing your opportunity. So my advice is always work hard. Come to practice on time. You know what I'm saying? Be the last one to leave. Loose ball on the floor, dive on the floor. Don't be afraid to take a charge. All the little things that count. And when I go look at a middle school kid, Philip Flagler, man, played for me at Roosevelt. Everybody call him lockdown field defensive guy. When I saw him, and he wasn't getting recruited hardly by pretty much nobody, what drove me to the kid was how hard he played. His skill set was not good. I said to myself, man, I got Keith up there, I got Tony up there, I got myself up there. We can work on the skill set, okay? Yeah, but you can't teach motor. You can't. He missed a shot. He missed a layup. They threw an outlet pass. Kid was going to attempt to lay the ball in. He had 4 other guys on the floor that were way ahead of where he was that could have got to the guy that's about to attempt a layup down the other end of the floor. Not only did he miss the shot, he ran it down and blocked the shot. So think about this scenario. You taught opposite side guard got the break early in basketball. Mm-hmm. Opposite side guard didn't get back. Post guy didn't get back. Opposite side wing, who's the guy that posed to be, I guess, the shooter, didn't get back. Phil lays the ball in the basket. They throw the outlet and he blocks the shot 94 feet away at the other end of the floor. I needs that kid at Roosevelt. And I just happened to sit in the bleachers. I looked around. I seen a lady cheering. And I went up there and talked to her. That's your son? She said, yeah. Okay, Kim. I needs him. But he wasn't getting recruited by nobody. Now, he's getting a couple of NAIA looks, a couple of D2 looks. You know what I'm saying? He's not right now a Division I player. Hopefully he develops into that. But he's getting some looks that he probably would have never thought he would get. But my thing is, it was all because of how hard he competed, which made me want him at Roosevelt. So if he wasn't playing hard that day, then I would have missed him.
Yep.
And that's one shot. And that was his one. And like I said, whoever else was in the building, I don't know what other coach was in the building, but I know what I look for. And I said to myself, he can play in my press. He's strong. He's athletic. He's a kid that I need in my program because he can play the way we want to play. And what's so funny is in the city championship game, he was the one that got the steal, that laid the ball in with 20 seconds left to give us the lead. It transferred over to what I was looking at to the big stage. So just give it your all, man. I'm gonna close on that night. Give it your all on this note. Give it your all. Some kids take all plays and you never know who's watching. And all it takes is that one college coach to be in the building that could change your life forever. So peace on that one.
Hey man, this conversation right here has been great. I appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule to come talk to me. I'm sure we're gonna do this again.
Oh, for sure.
We got a lot of things that we're gonna cook up, man, and we're gonna keep cultivating these relationships with these kids, and we're gonna keep building and helping them growing. And we're gonna do some things together, man, because it's just important to get out here, man, and get together and do it, and unify and do it, and not everybody be for self. Correct. You know what I'm saying? We can get so much done together than we can apart. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank everybody who's joining us. Special shout out to Mitch Cradle. I'm gonna get you on the show, Mitch.
I also want to shout out some important guys in my coaching career that have helped me. I'd be crazy not to mention Mike McLeese, at Dunbar, who I
Legend.
call
Legend.
all the time when I have issues, not only with basketball, just with life. Reese Morgan, who I said something about earlier.
Yes, sir.
Frazier Lurie, everybody, Coach Frazier Lurie Cadoza, has been a stepping stone for me with helping me, man, with man, if I have a problem, I call Coach O'Leary. He just makes it seem like, man, it's not even a problem.
Problem.
And then I can feel like it's the worst moment of my life, but he's always been positive about how we're going to fight this situation and you're going to be okay. Them guys just mean so much, to me. And then, I mean, the late, great Daryl Tillman, who hired me at Roosevelt, um, Debo, who was a brother, but more like a father figure to me. He always protected me and taught me, man, how to do this thing called run a program. And Dr. Butler, the legend of on 13th Street, Maurice Butler, man, who's I consider, like I said, a father to me also. He's one of the best to ever come through 13th Street Northwest. So had to shout out them guys because without them guys, there's no Rob Nickens, there's no Coach Rob. I'm not gonna ever forget where I come from and the people that helped me get to where I'm at today. So thank you all.
That's right. All right. Well, that's gonna conclude the show. Once again, I appreciate everybody listening. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Next week, I got another good guest, Bruce Jenkins.
Wow, that's my trainer.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, listen, it's all so small, man.
Yeah.
We all so connected, man.
Yeah, Bruce is a
And
great guy. Man.
great guy. Went to school together,
Yeah,
and so
Bruce,
Bruce is another guy that's in the community, has been in the community. These people who I'm bringing on the show, we out here doing the work.
BJ3.
Yeah, BJ3, baby. And we gonna talk about that. And we're gonna get a lot more into that because Bruce gonna be on here. And thank you again, Coach Nickens, for joining us. Thank you to everybody. Be safe.
Milk House Basketball.
Yes, sir. Join us Wednesday, 7 o'clock, outside the game. Peace.